Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. I'm back on the siding project again, and I'm hoping to get nearly done today. I don't think I'll get all the way, but let's give it a shot. First thing to do is to get these ends cut. I have to slide one up in there and figure out what that distance is. I gotta cut this hem off on the very top so that it's not so thick, and then I have to figure out where to nail it so that I don't have interference with that big screw there. So I gotta cut the ends of these four. I have my tin sitting on the grass, been there for a couple days now. That is the other half of this sheet, and it's actually going to overlap this, and we're going to have a seam right there facing the wall that way. Then if I can get those two in, that'll be really great. I'm super low on screws, and I might not even be able to get this whole piece in with the screws that I have. So I'm going to have to kind of watch my screw count, because if I can, I'd like to get that top piece in. I only need to put a couple screws on just to hold it in place. And then tomorrow I'm going to be running to the Amish, and it'd be kind of nice to know how many screws I actually need before I go there. All right, let's get going. All right, we got this one cut. I really hope this one fits. First time. I've had a couple screw ups so far, and let me see, I'm down to one full 20-foot sheet, and I have an 18-footer right there. So if I screwed this up, I have two chances, because I believe the 18-footer would fit this as well. But I really don't want this to be a mistake. Let's hope this just goes up real nice. One thing I can see is that these scuppers, it'll have to go up higher than the scuppers to come down into these slots, pretty much just on this side. So I'm gonna have to curl it a lot like I did, curled that one to get it up in there. It curls pretty easy, so it'll just be a hassle doing it. So I'm gonna have to set up the ladders, and then I'll get some people out here. That side's a bit more precarious, and I should be going there, but then I'll have to have somebody over here that gets this curled in. I don't know, we'll see. We're as ready as we're gonna be, so let's get these ladders set up and get this panel in place. Once we got this in place, I just started getting it positioned and throwing screws in, and the next thing you know, I got all the screws in here. Well, almost all of them. Where I said, right there, and right there, all along that line right there, there's a screw behind it, and the drill bits I have aren't doing a very good job of drilling through the head of the screw. So I'm heading to town tomorrow. I'm going to pick up some new drill bits, get up there and drill those out and put a screw in there. If I can't get the head of the screw drilled out, I'll just cut the heads off of these screws and just glue the washer and the screw head on there. It doesn't need them for strength, but it definitely needs them for looks. If you're missing a couple screws, it's going to look like crap. So, like I said, the sun on a day like this with those misty clouds, as soon as it starts getting a little bit lower, you'll lose light real quick because the sun is at such a steep angle. What I'm going to do now is get that last piece in here and get as many screws as I can in there. Let me show you how many screws I have left. That's it for the screws. So I'd kind of like to save some out so that I can get the top hung, but I don't know. I'm going to have to get more no matter what. And I believe there's a few that I need on the other side as well. I also need a bit more treated wood for around these scuppers. What I'm going to do is box those in, but not box them tight. I'm not really sure about having the treated wood up against the copper. I don't know if that'll work very well or not. I believe the treatment these days is copper, so it should be fine, but it really doesn't need to be tight up against the scupper anyways. That way, with the blocking in there, I can get my trim around those. Those actually have to be cut. They're going to get a fancy cut on the sides, but I can't do that until I have the gutter hung and can tell where the water needs to go. So let's get this last piece in, and then I got to make a list of all the stuff I need to finish this up. All right, I went over to the shed to take a look for the treated lumber to go around this to see what I had. I have nothing, so I really have to get to the store to get that. But while I was over there, I remembered that I needed to get the truck on a charger. I got to get that started so I can sell it. But when that was all done, I came over and counted how many screws I was going to need. I need about 100, and I have 28, and most of these were already used and they were just skating around because they're dull. they're kind of rejects. So I absolutely need screws. So I'm going to have to bring one of these along with me, see if they have this color at Menards. I'm going to head to Menards tomorrow. And if they don't have that color, I'm going to have to get them from the Amish guy. But I should have enough right there. If Menards doesn't have the right color and I don't get them from the Amish, I should have enough to get the last panel on. I don't have most of the screws on this, and there's a few missing on the other side, and a couple where I hit a screw here and there. So I got to get the drill bit to drill through the screws, just a bunch of stuff. Oh, and I got to get a nice white caulk for back in here, and I'll have to figure out how many feet this is. Each one of these windows is nearly 5 feet, so that's, you know, that's a good amount of bead. That's 10, 20, 30, 40 feet of bead on each side. So I got to make sure I get enough caulk for that, but it's getting there. I got that one panel left to cut, and I think I'm going to leave that in the greenhouse so it doesn't have frost all over it when I cut it. Today, when I cut that panel, it was just soaking wet because the sun's not strong enough to get that stuff melted before like noon or 1 o'clock. And by that time, you only have a few hours of light left. Can't have that. So it's looking like 1, possibly 2 more days to get this done. We have a 30-degree day tomorrow, or maybe 35-degree day tomorrow, which is pretty much the same as today. And then the day after that, it's going to be, I think it's 52 with 8-mile-an-hour winds. But I do believe the winds are coming from the northwest, which won't affect me at all. So a 52-degree day, I want to be able to start getting them caps on the top. The top needs to be nice and dry because I'm going to butter that up with some water stop, the same water stop that seals the edges of the flat roof up there. So a 52-degree day is perfect for that, but I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. Whatever. I have like 5 days before it snows, and I should absolutely be able to get this done by then. Okay, so if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comment section below. And if you share the video and or give it a like, it helps the channel out greatly. Thanks for watching and have a great day.